I was working on my video about the 99 Mummy for the past few weeks and was wondering how the new one would compare. The 99 one was better. Way better. Universal's been trying for the past few years to get the shared monster universe going, and they went all in with the reboot of The Mummy. Showing how much they wanted to make the monster universe, now called the Dark Universe, happen, the movie opens with the Dark Universe logo. The movie's essentially what you think it is. Tom Cruise uncovers a tomb, they unleash the mummy in current times, and since he's the one that unleashed it, he's the only one that can stop it. The movie kind of veered back and forth. At times it was trying to channel the wit and humor of the 99 version, and at other times it was trying to be more like a straight-up action film. I thought it failed at both. Now, not saying that I disliked the whole thing, there were a few segments I did enjoy. There's a part where we're introduced to this underground society that's monitoring the Dark Universe. Here we see various links to other things that will be in future films if this one does well enough. Some of the things you'd expect, like vampires and werewolves, but then there were a few other standouts that are for the more hardcore fans of the Universal monsters. They kind of surprised me, and it showed that they were going to go off the beaten path a little bit more than I expected. There's also an actor who was barely in any of the marketing, even though he's a pretty big name. I'm not going to spoil it because if they didn't want to use him to sell the picture, they wanted him to be a surprise. And it was. I liked his character, who looks like he's going to be the center of the Dark Universe films. The effects were okay. It's just hard to be impressed by this stuff now, especially when they're doing recreations of big moments from the 99 version. The opening segment alone was just a slightly altered version of the one from 99, right down to her being buried alive. I also didn't like how once they got out of the desert, everything was gray. Tom Cruise was Tom Cruise. I like the guy when he's in the right role, but this just didn't work for me. He was trying to play the lovable scoundrel, but ended up feeling just like a reckless douche. Sofia Boutella is popping up just about everywhere these days. Right before the movie was a trailer for Atomic Blonde, and she seemed to have a big role there. She did a decent job of playing the evil mummy Amenette, but mostly just sexy walked around and jumped on people to suck their life force. I'll give credit where it's due, she looked the part. When they did her up in the Cleopatra makeup and the clothes, I was impressed. Like I said, the movie felt like it was cribbing bits and pieces from the 99 version, and switching them up just enough to make him different. The sand wall, the life drain, and little tiny things like instead of the scarabs, they had camel spiders. Also, after she drained the life out of someone, they became like the walking shriveled from life force. The movie committed one of the biggest sins a movie can do. It was boring. I've seen all kinds of movies, and even in bad movies, there's something that keeps me engaged till the end. With this, I just got to a point where I stopped caring. I was more interested in the Museum of the Dark Universe artifacts than what was going on here. There was a lot of failed humor. One part where two characters were arguing you could tell was written to be funny, complete with moments where they paused so the audience can laugh, but it was dead silent. In a packed theater. I did laugh at something that wasn't supposed to be funny, though. When they first get to the tomb of Amenette, there's all these safety precautions in place to keep her imprisoned. But then Tom Cruise sees this lever and pulley system, which yanks the sarcophagus out of the ground in no time flat. If they wanted to keep her imprisoned, why would they have such an easy way for her to be released? Oh, and if you saw the trailer without the sound effects, the Tom Cruise scream wasn't in the airplane scene. But they did use it later. That kind of bummed me out. That would have been the funniest part of the movie. They did have an unexpected callback to the 99 version with one of the props. That made me smile, but it was short-lived. The Mummy is, sadly, a bore fest. Some good ideas were there, but they weren't properly implemented. Perhaps it has something to do with the fact that it had 6 writers. The direction was mediocre at best. Action sequences were the usual quick-cut variety, and the scarier scenes felt like low-rent goosebumps. I know Universal's got a lot riding on this, but it feels like a tremendously lackluster start to their Dark Universe.